Back to the Future is a great movie. Back to the Future is a great trilogy of movies about time travel with great philosophical consistent story of time travel, and not only just actors but still very successful on this one's pop culture. Like I said, October 26th is the birthday of Family Guy's creator. It's probably why he makes a lot of funny Back to the Future references in Family Guy episodes, and Back to the Future also inspired Rick and Morty. Like just Australia said, really is Doc and Marty's excellent adventure. I like how Back to the Future is a 1980s throwback with another 1980s throwback in it. It has got George DeCenzo and from She-Ra and the Princess of Power, and John Irwin from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Look at it roll! Now we can watch Jackie Gleason while we eat.
I hope this disguise works. Troopers, open the gate at once.
And who are you?
Don't you recognize the uniform of a horde inspector? I'm here to inspect this base.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a flying saucer.
That's the one I saw. It's made of pewter,
Made in Japan and thrown across the lawn by one of my children.
What's the price of this Mustang, too?
Well, this two-door hardtop has a base sticker price, excluding dealer prep.
Destination charges, title, and taxes.
$28.95.
Here comes Decker with a kick. It's up. It looks good, folks. It looks very good. Field goal. UCLA wins 19-17.
Today I broke a promise and proved myself unworthy of the great power that was given me. And if I am unworthy, I can no longer permit myself to be He-Man.
Zemeckis and Bob Gale really learned the formula for successful they really crafted the secret formula for successful film franchises that I'd love to figure out myself, because one, they told a really good story. They told a really good successful story that resonates throughout the age groups without loads of cheesy special effects to sell the film. I guess that also and probably helps Back to the Future stand the test of time by having no A-list celebrities in it. Probably something that helps make the films more relatable to watch. And two, they negotiated a really good deal with Universal Pictures, where Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale could keep the rights to the Back to the Future IP, so that some future Universal Pictures jerk can't remake it and ruin everything for which they worked, or have a mediocre, worthless sequel titled Forth to the Future, which would make this thing Marty McFly asked Emmett Brown at the end of the first Back to the Future kind of hilarious in hindsight.
Well, what are you talking about? What happens to us in the future? What, we become assholes or something?
No, Marty.
I mean, it's crazy, but in a good way.
Could we ever see it being remade, possibly?
Well, not with me. I actually had this kind of thought that if they did the movie again, I think they should do it with the girl as Marty.
Oh, no kidding.
I mean, a different perspective on it.
Oh man, it's really funny that Michael J. Fox of all people would want Back to the Future to get remade in the far future with the female Marty McFly. Well, I suppose that could work out if the girl Marty is an interesting character to follow, and she's not a Mary Sue like other bad or mediocre modern films that have a female protagonist who doesn't have a fully fleshed out character. I think Back to the Future films really helps make history with filmmaking, because they had to pay Crispin Glover $765,000 for reusing old footage of him playing George McFly in the first Back to the Future for the second Back to the Future. That's so the films and TV shows had to come up with new rules about cover for this new precedent on reusing old actors who don't want to be present. Back to the Future also made history with its Vista Glide camera and how it had Michael J. Fox play three characters on screen at once. Because he was Marty McFly and Marty Jr. and Marlene McFly in 2015. Yeah, I really liked how he was surprisingly good at playing a girl. Just by wearing a wig that looks like a recolored version of Wendy Jo Sperber's hairstyle. She's the one who plays Linda McFly. Yeah, Michael J. Fox really fooled me. I didn't know he was that good. I didn't know he he could be that good at voicing a girl. Because I'm still working on my girl voices. Back to the Future's really taught me a lot about how to make a really good classic film. You know, the camera effects, what to do if I need permission from actors who don't want to turn voice sequels to reuse old footage of them, and that telling a good story is what really makes a film, really helps a film stand the test of time, instead of, you know, because over-the-top CG special effects and A-list celebrities who were just topical at the time the film was made are not going to cut it. Back to the Future really is, I say Back to the Future really is a gem of an artifact that must be examined, an artifact of a film that must be examined from a simpler time when lots of filmmakers weren't limiting their film audiences to the biggest selling audiences for movie theaters, because Back to the Future wasn't made just for
16-year-olds and China
to be the highest grossing film in the box office of that year. And as the Critical Drinker puts it in the first part of his two-part video of Masters of the Universe Revelations, elderly gentlemen could hang out with teenage boys without everyone automatically assuming the worst. If I make any films of my own in the future, I will keep all of Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis' filmmaking techniques in mind that I learned from watching the films and learning about how they were produced. Back to the Futures and Spy Kids are both classic film trilogies that made loads of money on a low budget that all ages can enjoy. And that's why, Back to the Future and Spy Kids are both good models of film trilogies that I will follow if I ever make a film in the future. And they're both successful film trilogies because they weren't even planned as a trilogy from the start, just one film. Back to the Future stands the test of time because it crafted a successful timeless story with no A-list actors playing the main characters, and it had a carefully thought out conflict in which Marty McFly gets stuck in the past because the DeLorean lost its main power source. He got stuck in 1955 in the first film because Emmett Brown forgot to put in a second round of plutonium before the Libyans shot him. He got stuck in 1885 in the third film because one of the Indians' arrows broke the main fuel line and caused the gasoline to leak out. That is when Emmett Brown had to improvise a new way to get Marty back to the future, using the lightning from the Hill Valley clock tower to power the car in 1955, and using the Presto logs to power the train to push the car forward up to 90 miles per hour in 1885. I like how Robert Zemeckis did not intend for Back to the Future to be a full trilogy of movies, but he knew how to follow through, ending the first movie by setting up a new adventure once Universal Studios wanted sequels. Robert Rodriguez did not intend for Spy Kids to be a trilogy either, but he still knew how to keep a tight production schedule to complete 3 films before Alexa Vega and Daryl Sabara grew up too fast for him. Spy Kids 4 was a misguided but innocuous attempt to reboot the franchise for a new generation of kids. And unlike Colin Trevorrow's Jurassic World trilogy, at least Robert Rodriguez knew when to quit while he was ahead and not make any more Spy Kids movies after that. Robert Schwenke, his last name is difficult to pronounce, also knew when to quit making Divergent films by blowing Allegiant's entire budget on Part 1 to spare Shailene Woodley from the tragic ending her character would face in Allegiant Part 2. Robert Zemeckis knew when to quit while he was ahead with the Back to the Future films because he and Bob Gale found a way to protect the rights from future filmmakers at Universal Studios who could revive or reboot it the same way Colin Trevorrow did with Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. That is why we have no Fourth to the Future. I guess I've traveled through time after all. I have been making these Back to the Future related videos from Halloween all the way through Thanksgiving. Speaking of time travel, another one of my most favorite Back to the Future references in Family Guy was in Road to Germany when Stewie, Brian, and Mort were in 1939 Germany, and Stewie parodied the past makeshift skateboard scene by tricking Nazis into driving into a truck of manure. Das Boot! They shouted. That's all I have to say about Back to the Future for now, subscribers. I would like to thank you for watching this multi-part video I made sharing my thoughts on Back to the Future, and I would also like to thank Patrick Starr and Star Butterfly for being my special guests in this video and telling me what they liked about the year 2015. I might eventually make further videos reviewing or analyzing unique specific aspects of the Back to the Future film trilogy and its follow-up animated series. But until then, I gotta get back to my schoolwork, and I'll see you gals and guys again in the future.